How to lose an avoidant guy in 7 steps without even realizing it. This is my personal take on the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. How do you pronounce him? With Kate and Matthew. Here's the thing. The movie is actually showing exactly what pushes an avoidant guy or partner away. Especially the one who shuts down or needs a little bit more space, who pulls back when things get too close too fast. But I'm not here to just rehash the movie. I just want to go a little bit deeper and also explain the why. Why is this happening? Why do these guys or even women behave in a certain type so you can do the opposite if you've already fallen in love with someone who has an avoidant attachment style? Because that's when you can start showing up differently in your relationship and even quite a deeper, longer lasting bond, even if they have an avoidant attachment style. First, let's break down the avoidant attachment style a little bit more and understand why they tick the way they tick. By the way, if you're going to notice my makeup slowly melting away over the next half an hour, don't worry, it's literally like the hottest day of the year. It's going to up to 36 degrees here in Italy. That's why I'm started to record already at 8 a.m. even though I'm not a morning person. So yes, you're welcome. Anyway, most avoidant attached people grew up in homes where vulnerability meant weakness. That's at least what they have learned subconsciously. So maybe when they were crying or were a little more clingy or over asking things when they were little, which is completely normal for a child, right? They've learned that this got them kind of a rejection, or they were shutting down, or they were being left alone with their feelings and emotions and their needs too often, too consistently. So then that made them build up walls for themselves and not bridges. And now they crave connection still, but then panic when it feels too close because they haven't learned that closeness is safe. And that's why all your "I just need reassurance" texts get read as invasion. When you have an anxious attachment style, your nervous system says love equals attention and closeness. And this is safety, right? But for your partner, if they have an avoidant attachment style, their system says love equals space and independence. And that is safety. So you both want in the end the same thing. You both want safety, emotional safety, right? But the way you're chasing it is completely the opposite. The way you meet safety is by being very close to your partner emotionally and physically. However, your partner really has learned to feel safe through distance and shutting down and avoiding emotion and all of this stuff, unfortunately. So here are the steps to accidentally but very efficiently push an avoidant partner away so you can do the exact opposite. So you can actually make an anxious and avoidant relationship work, because avoidants also deserve love and all avoidants are not the same. And if you've got an anxious attachment style, you don't get exactly to choose who you fall in love with. Your anxious attachment chooses for you. And before you attack me on YouTube again in the comments saying, hey, you know what, avoidants don't deserve love, and they're all incapable and they should be on their own. Again, they're not all the same. I'm with an avoidant attachment partner and he does show up very consistently for me, especially because of the work I've put into myself first. And it did quite a ripple effect because then he learned to trust me more. So anyways, this episode is not about this. I've got a previous episode on this where I talk about if he's avoidant or just not into you. Anyways, now let's talk into the 7 steps how to push your avoidant partner away, how to lose a guy in 7 steps. So step 1 is you overshare all your trauma in the first 10 minutes. Let's say you're dating a guy, right? So you skip the "what do you do for fun" questions and go straight into all of the trauma and your past relationships and go really deep because you hate small talk. So you think sharing things like, so my ex ghosted me after we started planning our wedding after the first few weeks. Or you list every single childhood trauma in detail with tears and everything on top as a bonus. And you talk about how you're already picturing their last name next to yours, or how you would choose their name maybe once you get married. Or maybe you're gonna say things like, I just feel like you're the one, you're my soulmate on the second date. Maybe you're mentioning what you'll name your future dog together or your kids. And let's talk about why this actually pushes your avoidant partner away, or maybe any guy. Let's talk about this. So they need time and space to build trust slowly, especially avoidant attached partners and people. So when you overshare information, parts about yourself, and especially be overly, say, emotional, they feel very triggered. They have a core fear of engulfment. So being emotionally trapped or feeling trapped and feeling swallowed whole emotionally before they're even ready. So their nervous system reacts to by being pulled away to protect their autonomy in the end. So closeness and emotional overwhelm is really triggering them. Step 2, how to lose an avoidant guy in 7 steps, is make them your whole world. Cancel Pilates or yoga nights, wine nights, and your sleep because he finally has replied to you. Stay up until 2 a.m. to decode his messages. Maybe he's just gave you a thumb up, or he just read your message and you checked on his Instagram stories if he has been online, if he has posted something, and you're messaging with your friends what it could mean, or you're Googling on Reddit and searching for what could this actually mean. You stop posting stories so he doesn't think you're seeing other people. You're changing your status immediately everywhere. The translation is basically, I'll emotionally abandon myself if it means you won't leave me. And why does this push them away? When someone becomes your entire universe, it feels like pressure and loss of independence for an avoidant attached partner. So they often grew up learning that needing too much means being too much. So your emotional abandonment of yourself to hold on actually makes them run faster because it adds another layer of pressure for them. 3, text novels when you're triggered. We love sending long paragraphs to our partners, right? Or the people we date. Hey, just wondering if you're mad, and then going into detail and then following up and triple texting and sending lots of messages afterwards, right? Because you're then questioning what you send and checking in if their mood has changed, if they haven't replied within a few minutes. 10 minutes later, I feel like I'm bothering you. Are you weak? Are you okay? 20 minutes later, actually, never mind. This is what always happens. I knew this was going to happen. And secretly, you know you're not good enough for them. And after an argument, you're like explaining the whole situation, how you feel hurt, how you feel betrayed. And after a breakup, maybe you're sending them like 3 or 5 letters explaining the whole situation, your whole emotional world, and going really deep into all of the stories, all of the micro details and everything. And their brain is going on high alert, not because you're too much, but because their system, they can't handle this much activation. They think, I'll just disappoint you. Let's say if I disappear, and they have not learned to handle this much emotions. Again, as we talked about before, they are not growing up in an environment where emotions felt safe. Being very emotional or even crying or talking about emotions was something they got used to, right? So flooding them with emotional intensity feels very overwhelming and unfamiliar. And we always choose something that's familiar over something unfamiliar. So avoidance nervous system react to that kind of activation by shutting down or retreating or eventually leaving and running away, either escaping from the moment, not texting, avoiding calling, avoiding the conversation. walking out of a room, or eventually maybe even leaving the relationship or marriage. But they don't run because you're too much and not good enough. This is really important to remember. It has nothing to do with you and all to do with their own triggers and their own core wounds. But because they haven't learned how to safely receive that much emotional energy without triggering their own defense system. So let's talk about step 4, how to lose a guy in 7 steps, and how to lose an avoidant guy especially. So you assume every silence means abandonment for yourself. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you can relate to this one. So they're watching YouTube and eating cereal, and you're like, oh my God, he lost interest. Why is YouTube more interesting than me? They say, hey, I've been busy at work. And you're like, he's lying. If he wanted to, he would. You play detective instead of checking in with your nervous system. And you maybe check out if there has been a new employee, or you're hyper obsessed about anyone who's very attractive in his work life, and checking on his social media if he's in contact with that person there as well, and really want to check his phone constantly and try not to do it because you know it's wrong, but you kind of obsess over this, and then act from fear and not from facts because you're so triggered. So why would this push an avoidant partner away? So avoidants use silence to regulate and recharge, and also kind of to avoid their emotions, right? So your interpretation of silence as rejection creates this pressure cooker effect. When you chase and you accuse, it feels like this emotional attack, making them withdraw more deeper to feel safe again. So you chase and attack and micromanage and maybe hypervigilant and play detective, and they withdraw and withdraw and withdraw more. And the more they withdraw, the more you think, I told you, I knew there was something wrong, and it keeps reinforcing the cycle because you will always prove your belief to be true. Number 5, how to lose an avoidant guy in 7 steps is expect them to meet all of your needs. Feeling anxious? Text him. Ask for reassurance. Do you need a little validation? Text him. Ask him for validation. Want comfort after a fight with your sister? Guess what? Text him. You forgot you can hold yourself too. And now he feels like the pressure is on 24/7. He feels like your parent, your therapist, your best friend, everything all at once. Oh yes, like he can never get it right. He pulls away more and more. So if you have not figured this out, why this pushes an avoidant away, let me go even deeper. Avoidants often fear responsibility for others' emotional regulation. When you lean on them constantly, it creates this emotional weight that triggers their flight response. And they pull away and run away to protect themselves from feeling the emotions, from feeling overwhelmed, from feeling trapped, from feeling like they're not good enough. They're a failure. They're failing you. So before I jump into the last few points, I want to share with you, you can get lots of free resources in the attachment library below, linked underneath the YouTube video or in the show notes. For example, there's an attachment style quiz where you really figure out if you have actually an anxious attachment style, or if you're maybe more disorganized attached and leaning more towards the anxious side. There's also a quiz to tell you if it's actually intuition or more anxiety, because we often mix these two up. There are tools if you're worrying a lot and are always overthinking, and so much more. Plus, there are resources to check out my one-on-one support offers. You can, for example, join my monthly container or go deeper with one of my full programs, my 4 or 8 month coaching container to transform your anxious attachment style into a secure one. Extremely powerful if you're ready to do this step to really create real security from within without chasing, without accepting breadcrumbs. So check out if there are any more spots by just jumping on a call with me or emailing me. And if you're not ready for one-on-one coaching calls via video, you can also get WhatsApp notes and coaching from me. It's super popular. And again, it's a monthly coaching support where you can cancel anytime. Get in contact with me if you're interested and find out more information about this. So are you ready for step number 6? How to lose an avoidant guy in 7 steps. So number 6 is you try to fix the disconnect with more connection. What do I mean with this? You ask, can we talk about the relationship again? Maybe for the 7th time. Or be even more direct and say, we need to talk, because everyone loves to hear this. He's pulling away, so you push harder. You think closeness will fix the fear. You think you have to talk out the problem right now, but they are wired to find closeness scary. So avoidance see repetitive relationship check-ins as pressure and emotional demands. It feels like a trap closing in, which triggers their survival mechanism to run again. They need space to process information first before they can come back together and regulate themselves, to not be cornered into connection. And by the way, if you keep waiting every week to list things and then tell your partner everything that is going wrong, it's literally like coming to them with a list of, here are 10 reasons why you're a bad partner and why you're a bad person. This is literally something that my partner used to tell me about weekly check-ins. So they much rather prefer if you come to them in the moment something is not working well. Like, let's say they forgot emptying the bins. So just say, hey, babe, could you just empty the bins? That's it. And the last one, number 7, make his emotional availability a test of your worth. So he goes cold. It must be me, right? It must mean I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love. He cancels plans. I'm unlovable. He doesn't give you quality time or words of affirmation. Of course, it's again proof that there's something wrong with you. And in the worst case, if he ever leaves you or files a divorce, oh my God, you are broken. There's something deeply, deeply flawed and wrong with you again. You keep proving your deepest wound that you're not good enough and you're not worthy of love and there's something to be earned over and over again to be true. Whatever happens in your relationship externally, whatever your partner does, whatever your friends do, whatever happens in the relationship, you always make it mean something personal about yourself. You always think you have to earn love, but that is not love. That's a trauma loop. And this also pushes the partner away. Maybe they're not aware of it on the conscious level, but subconsciously this is still there. So this is like a self-blame dynamic, and it creates a cycle of emotional chase and withdraw again. So avoidance feel the pressure of insecurity, which adds up guilt and shame on their side as well, making them pull away even further to protect their fragile sense of self as well. So after hearing the 7 steps you really want to do to push it away or maybe avoid, what is the real solution here? The real solution is to not change your partner, not change the avoidant attachment style, but giving your nervous system the message, I am safe, even if someone pulls away. I am enough, even when they're not texting back. I can choose someone who chooses me without the chase. You break the cycle when you regulate your emotions first, without reaching out every time to your partner, without adding extra pressure onto them, and really realizing you are your own whole person and you are an adult now who's able to look at your needs, is able to identify your needs and emotions, validate them first, and then fulfill your own needs independently. And then everything is just a cherry on top in your relationship. Your worth is already 100% there. You don't have to chase it or question it or make anything that's happening in your relationship mean something about you. When there's a lack of words of affirmation, quality time, it means nothing about you. So you're not feeling broken and always depending on external actions or words. It's not based on their response. And also it's very important to let secure people into your life, even if they feel boring at first. Because in truth, avoidants aren't bad people. They're just also scared little kids in grown-up bodies who didn't had everything really fully been met when they were little kids. And now their nervous system is just being triggered over and over again, same as your nervous system. So the more you understand your nervous system and what you need, you can more focus on your own needs, taking their triggers and their actions less personal. And you can literally grow together and create a ripple effect in your relationship. So when you realize that you don't have to earn love, others will realize it too. And if they don't, then you can always walk away because you deserve everything and more. So that was a bit cringy, but I had to add this in the end. So I hope this episode speaks for you. Please check out my last episodes as well. And the next episode is going to be about why breakups go so deep and hit so hard for someone with an anxious attachment style. So don't miss out on that one. It's going to come out in a few days. And so far, remember, change in your relationship starts with you. Thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. Lots of love. See you in the next one. Yula. Bye bye.